Good morning, students. Yeah, say your prayer. Thank you. நான் ஒரு நல்லாசிரியர். நான் உங்களுக்கு தாயாகவும் தந்தையாகவும் இருந்து முறையாக அன்போடு கல்வியை போதிப்பேன். நான் ஒரு நல்லாசிரியர். நான் உங்களுக்கு தாயாகவும் தந்தையாகவும் இருந்து முறையாக அன்போடு கல்வியை போதிப்பேன். நான் ஒரு நல்லாசிரியர். நான் உங்களுக்கு தாயாகவும் தந்தையாகவும் இருந்து முறையாக அன்போடு கல்வியை போதிப்பேன். Okay, students, take your social science book. Yeah, come to page number 158. So today we will discuss about a new topic, irrigation. So what do you mean by irrigation? Yeah, so supply of water for agriculture plant through artificial mean. Yeah, so that is watering of agriculture plant through artificial mean is called as irrigation. Yeah, so why we need irrigation? Yeah, so India is a hot country with seasonal and irregular rainfall. Yeah, so the plants, so the agriculture crops need water for their growth. Yeah, so you are well know that for plants growth they need sunlight and water. Okay, so India is a hot country with seasonal and irregular rainfall. Okay, so rainfall is irregular and is also seasonal. Okay, so we need, so that the crops, agricultural crops need irrigation, so water supply. Yeah, so that's why irrigation is necessary to carry out agriculture activities during dry period. Okay, so since India is a hot country with seasonal, so rainfall season. So which is the rainfall season of Tamil Nadu? Yeah, October, November. Then for whole India, especially the North India, yeah, the southwest monsoon. So it gave rainfall to 75% of the country. Okay, so during southwest monsoon, which is the southwest monsoon period? Yeah, June to September. Yeah, so the remaining period, so India is enjoys a dry climate only. Yeah, and also the southwest monsoon is irregular. Yeah, so sometimes the monsoon get failure. Yeah, so during the time, so we have to supply water for the crops. Yeah, so that's why irrigation is necessary. Okay, so in today's class we will discuss about the sources of irrigation and various sources of irrigation. Okay, and its importance. Okay, so in our previous class we have discussed about the soil and its types. Yeah, so soil is the uppermost layer. Yeah, so composed of organic and inorganic matter. Yeah, so there are 8 types of soil in India. Yeah, so it was classified by Indian Council for Agriculture Research, ICAR. So which was set up in the year 1953. Yeah, so in last class we have discussed about the last 4 types of soil. So what are they? Yeah, forest and mountain soil, arid and desert soil, saline and alkaline soil, peaty and marshy soil. Yeah, so among these 4 types of soil, so in which soil crops do not grow? Yeah, saline and alkaline soil. Why? Yeah, because of the excess salinization of the soil. Yeah, so the salt content is more. Yeah, then already we have discussed about the first 4 types of soil: alluvial soil, black soil, red soil, and laterite soil. Okay, in last class we discussed about forest and mountain soil, arid and desert soil, saline and alkaline soil, peaty and marshy soil, and the distribution and crops grown in each soil. Then finally we discussed about soil degradation. So soil degradation, so nothing but the fertility of the soil get reduced due to human activity. So that is called as soil degradation. And we discussed about the methods of conservation and management of soil. Yeah, so how we can conserve soil. Yeah, so because soil is an important resources. Okay, so because we depend on soil. Okay, so that's why we have to preserve and conserve the soil. Okay, so sources of irrigation. So today's class we will discuss about irrigation. So irrigation nothing but watering of agriculture plants through artificial mean. Yeah, so the sources of irrigation. In India, different sources of irrigation are used depending upon the topography. So topography means the physical feature of an area of land. Yeah, so the physical feature of an area or a land, especially the position of its rivers, mountains, etc. Yeah, so topography means nothing but the physical feature of an area. Yeah, so the physical feature, maybe it is a mountain area or a plain or a plateau. Yeah, so the source of irrigation in India depends upon the topography. So the land feature, then soil, the nature of the soil, then rainfall. So the rainfall, seasonal, or the rainfall may be heavy or low or moderate, then availability of surface or groundwater, then nature of river. So nature of river means, so the river may be perennial or non-perennial. So perennial, non-perennial, what is the difference? Yeah, if the water flow in the river is throughout the year means, then it is called as perennial river. Yeah. So if the water flow in the river depends upon the rainfall means it is non-perennial. Okay. Then the requirements of crops, etc. Yeah. So in India, so the sources of irrigation are used. So we use different types of irrigation method. Yeah. It depends upon the topography, then the soil, then rainfall, availability of surface or groundwater, then the nature of river, that is perennial or non-perennial, then the requirements of the crops, etc. Yeah, these things only decides the types of irrigation. Yeah. So the main source of irrigation used in different parts of the country. Yeah. So the most common, yeah, so method of irrigation, so widely used in India are canal irrigation, well irrigation, and tank irrigation. Yeah, so canal irrigation, well irrigation, tank irrigation. Yeah, so canal irrigation, well, and tank. So these are the three main source of irrigation, so which was used in different parts of India. So we discuss about the three main source of irrigation and also the modern irrigation method. So first the canal irrigation. So canal irrigation, it is the second most important source of irrigation in our country. So canal irrigation, it is the second most important source of irrigation in our country. Then what is the first source of irrigation? Yeah, well irrigation. Yeah, so the second most source of irrigation is canal irrigation. So canals are the effective source of irrigation in areas of low level relief, deep fertile soil, perennial source of water, and extensive command area. Yeah, so canal are the effective source of irrigation. Yeah, so canals, yeah, so where they are used. So the areas which have low level relief. Yeah, so the areas which have low level. Yeah, so mostly it was not seen in the hilly areas. Yes, it is difficult to construct canal in hilly areas. Yes, so they are mostly seen in low level. So that is in the plain region. Then deep fertile soil. So where the soil is fertile. Then water supply. Yes, so the perennial source of water. Yes, so if you can supply water throughout the year, yes, or more than half of the year means, then the canal irrigation is possible. Okay, so the canals are of two types. Yes, so canal irrigation, the canals are of two types. So one is called as inundation canal, and the second one is called as perennial canal. Yeah, so canal irrigation, it is the second most important source of irrigation in our country. So they are effective source of irrigation in areas so which have low level, that is in low level areas. Yes, and they have deep fertile soil. Yeah, so in these areas, and also the perennial source of water and extensive command area. So the area is wide, so the area is large. Yeah, and also the water supply should be or maybe throughout the year. Okay, so the canals are of two types, inundation canal and perennial canal. So first one, inundation canal. In this, water is taken out directly from the rivers without making any kind of barrage or dam. Yes, in inundation canal, so water is taken out directly from the rivers without making any kind of barrage or dam. So barrage means, yeah, a wall or barrier built across a river to store water and to prevent flood, etc. Yes, a barrage. So nothing but a wall or a barrier built across a river to store water. Yes, and also prevent flood, etc. Okay, so this is a barrage. Yes, this barrage. So such canals are used for the diversion of flood water from the rivers and remain operational during rainy season. Yeah, so this inundation canal so remain active during rainy season. Yes, inundation canal. So in this, the water is taken out directly from the river without constructing any dam or barrage. Okay, the main purpose is used for the diversion of flood water. So during rainy season, so there may be a chance of flood in river. Yeah, so this inundation canal are useful for the diversion of flood water from the rivers, and they remain operational during rainy season. Then perennial canals. Yeah, so first one inundation canal, then perennial canals. So these are developed from perennial rivers by constructing barrage or dam to regulate the flow of water. Yeah, so perennial canals. So these are developed from perennial rivers. Yeah, so perennial rivers. So here the water flow is seen throughout the year. Yeah, so these are developed from perennial rivers by constructing barrage to regulate the flow of water. About 60% of the canal irrigated area falls in the northern plains of India. Yeah, so perennial canals you can see in this in northern plains. Yeah, so because northern Indian rivers, that is the Himalayan rivers are perennial, because the water flow is seen throughout the year, so that's why, so there the perennial canals are constructed, so nearly 60% of the canal irrigated in northern India falls under perennial canals, okay va? So we have discussed canal irrigation, so canal irrigation there are two types, so what are they? Inundation canal, then perennial canal. So what is the difference between inundation and perennial? Inundation, so water is taken out directly from river without constructing any dam or barrage. But in perennial canal, so water is taken out from the rivers by constructing a dam. So the water flow is constructed. So the water flow is regulated by constructing a dam or barrage. That is perennial canal. So now well irrigation. So a well, what is a well? A well is a hole or trough, usually vertical, excavated in the earth for bringing groundwater to the surface. So a well is nothing but a hole or trough which is vertical. So the well is a hole or trough, usually vertical, excavated in the earth for bringing groundwater to the surface. So well irrigation is the most important source of irrigation. Well. So there are a lot of well. So apart from canal irrigation, so well irrigation is the most important source of irrigation. It is a cheap, dependable and popular source of irrigation in the country. So well irrigation, it is a cheap, dependable and popular source of irrigation in the country. Well irrigation is unavoidable in the region of low rainfall and becomes an essential one where the canals and tank irrigation are not available. So well irrigation is unavoidable. So where it is unavoidable? In the region of low rainfall, and also becomes an essential where the canals and tank irrigations are not available. So in some areas the construction of canals and tanks was not possible. In that area, so well irrigation so provide the essential supply of water. So wells are of two types. So one is called as open well and another one is called as tube well. So one is called as open well and another one is called as tube well. So open wells. So this type of irrigation is widely practiced in the areas where groundwater is sufficiently available. So this type of irrigation, open well, is widely practiced in the areas where groundwater is sufficiently available. So the areas are in Ganga plain, the deltaic region of Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna, Kaveri and parts of Narmada and Tapti valleys. So open well. So this type of irrigation is practiced in the areas where groundwater is sufficiently available. Okay, so open well. So the depth of the open well is low when compared to tube wells. Okay, so they are found in, so open wells are seen in the plain areas, especially in the river sides. Okay, so tube wells, so nothing but the bore wells. So tube wells are developed in the areas of low water table, sufficient power supply and soft subsurface geological unit. So the geological, that is the rock surface should be soft, so it should not be hard. Okay, because it is very difficult to dig hole in the hard rocks. Okay, so the geological unit, the geological areas should have soft subsurface. Then the tube wells are predominant in the states of Gujarat, Maharashtra, Punjab, Madhya Pradesh and Tamil Nadu. So tube wells. So tube wells are developed in the areas of low water table. So the open wells are practiced in the areas where groundwater is sufficiently available. But in the tube wells, so were developed in the areas of low water table, so with sufficient power supply. And also soft subsurface geological unit. So tube wells are predominant in the states of Gujarat, Maharashtra, Punjab, Madhya Pradesh and Tamil Nadu. So we have discussed canal irrigation and well irrigation. So what are the two types of canal irrigation? Inundation canal, then perennial canal. Then well irrigation, what are the two types of wells? Open well, then tube well. Now tank irrigation. A tank is a natural or man-made hole on the surface developed by constructing a small bund around it across a stream. So a tank is a natural or man-made hollow on the surface developed by constructing a small bund. So bund means an embankment used to control the flow of water. So an embankment or causeway. So an embankment used to control the flow of water. Okay, so a tank is a natural or man-made hollow on the surface developed by constructing a small bund around it across a stream. Yeah, so a small bund constructed across a stream, across a water flow. It is used to collect and store water for irrigation and other purposes. Yeah, so tank irrigation. So tanks are used to collect and store water for irrigation and other purposes. Irrigation by tanks is very old system in India. Yes, it also includes irrigation from lakes and ponds. Yes, irrigation by tank is very old system. Yeah, so the old method of irrigation is tank irrigation. Yeah, it also includes irrigation from lakes and ponds. The tank irrigation is popular in peninsular India. Yeah, so tank irrigation is popular in peninsular India. Why? Because the undulating relief and hard rocks make difficult to dig canals and wells. Yeah, so the undulating. Yeah, so undulating means so the physical shape of the peninsular India is not even. Yeah, so you can see plateaus, you can see plains, you can see hill areas, and also so the peninsular India, so it is the Deccan Plateau is made of hard rocks. Yeah, so it is difficult to dig canals and wells. Yeah, so in peninsular India, so that is Deccan India, formed from the Gondwana land. So already you have discussed it in the first lesson. Yeah, so the here you can found the hard rocks. Yeah, so it is very difficult to dig canals and reservoirs. Then natural depressions serve as reservoirs. Yeah, so there are natural depressions. So depression means a part of a surface that is lower than the part around it. Yeah, so depression. You can see natural depressions which serve as reservoirs. That is a natural or artificial lake where water is stored. Yeah, so natural lakes can be seen. Yeah. Then absence of perennial rivers. Yeah, so the rivers in peninsular India depends on rainfall. Okay, so the absence of perennial rivers. Then impermeable rock structure which do not permit percolation. So impermeable, that is it won't allow water to pass through it. Yes, it won't allow liquid or gas to pass through it. Okay, so water should not pass through it. Yeah, so the rock structure, so impermeable rock structure. Then the scattered nature of population and agriculture field. Yeah, so South India, the peninsular India, so the whole peninsular India was not suitable for agriculture practice. Okay, so the scattered nature of population and agriculture field. Okay, so these are the things. So that's why peninsular India, so tank irrigation is popular. Okay, so we have discussed about the three types of irrigation. So the main source of irrigation, canal irrigation, well irrigation, tank irrigation. So which was commonly followed irrigation technique, so followed all over India. So now the modern irrigation method. So the previously discussed three, canal, well and tank. So it's an ancient and traditional one. So now we will discuss about the modern irrigation method. So there are many ways in modern irrigation. So modern irrigation method is to save water. Okay, so the already discussed the means of source of irrigation. So it requires water in more amount. Okay, but the modern irrigation method require very low amount of water. Okay, so very low quality, low amount and quality of water. So there are many ways in modern irrigation. Among them, mostly practiced in India are drip irrigation, sprinklers, rain gun, and central pivot irrigation. Yeah, so the most common modern irrigation method, so practiced in India are drip irrigation, sprinklers, rain gun, and central pivot irrigation. So drip irrigation method, you know well. Maybe in your family or in your relation's home, you can see this drip irrigation method. So drip irrigation method, it was first developed. In this method, water is supplied in the form of drops. So in the form of drops, so the water is supplied through nozzles. So here water can be saved up to 70%. So drip irrigation, it was first developed modern irrigation method. In this method, water is supplied in the form of drops through nozzles. So water can be saved up to 70% in drip irrigation method. Sprinkler method, it is the simplest and easiest method of all. So in the modern irrigation method, so sprinkler method is simplest and easiest. In this method, water is supplied to the field from the source through the pipes with have small holes. It can be used in the areas of uneven surface also. Okay, so sprinkler method, it is the simplest and easiest method of all. In this method, water is supplied to the field from the source through the pipes with have small holes. So sprinkler, so it sprays, so it sprays water from its source. Okay, it can be used in the areas of uneven surface also. Then rain gun. So rain gun, so it is like a gun. So rain gun is used to spread water like rain. So name itself indicate rain. So rain gun is used to spread water like rain. It can be used to water the crops which grow up to 4 feet. So rain gun can be used to water the crops, so which grow up to 4 feet. It is useful to irrigate the crops like sugarcane and maize. So sugarcane, so it grows up to a height of 4 feet. So more than 4 feet. So the rain gun is used to spread water like rain. So rain gun is used to irrigate the crops like sugarcane and maize. Then the central pivot irrigation, it is also called as water wheel and circle irrigation. So central pivot irrigation, it is also called as water wheel and circle irrigation. It is a method of crop irrigation in which equipment rotates around a pivot and crops are watered with sprinklers. So central pivot irrigation, it is a method of crop irrigation in which equipment rotates around a pivot, and crops are watered with sprinklers. So from the center position, so the water is supplied throughout the land. So it rotates and spread water, so like a sprinkler. Okay, so these are the 4 techniques, so which was modern method, so modern irrigation method used commonly practiced in India. So drip irrigation, sprinkler irrigation, rain gun and central pivot irrigation. So apart from the traditional irrigation method, that is canal, well and tank irrigation, so modern irrigation method is also followed in India. Why? Because India's population is growing. So it is increasing. So the water, so the groundwater level is getting low. So that's why we have to save water. So that's why the people in India, so we are following so the modern irrigation method. So in this method we can save water. So we can save water when compared to the traditional method. So the modern irrigation methods, so what are they? Drip irrigation, sprinkler method, rain gun and central pivot irrigation. Okay students, so today's class we have discussed about irrigation and its source of irrigation, and also finally the modern irrigation method. So now textbook reading. Take page number 159. Read that modern irrigation method. So read that 4 heading. So try to learn it. So this is not a book by question. But these are the questions which may they ask in public exams. Then homework. So again, so it's not a book by question, so but you have to read and write it. So take page number 158. See that the tank irrigation heading. In that the second paragraph, that is the tank irrigation is popular in Peninsular India due to the following reasons. So write that 5 point. So they may ask the questions like that. Why tank irrigation is popular in Peninsular India? So they ask to write the reasons. So they may be asking 2 mark or 5 mark. So 5 mark no chance, but they may ask in 2 mark. So there are 5 points. You have to read and write these 5 points as your homework. Okay, so if you have any doubt in this topic irrigation, so please contact me. So thank you. Have a nice day.